guys, welcome back to episode of Off the Shelf. I'm HD, and this week we found Off the Shelf was
Now, most white folks, of course, are behind the White Hope. Brady's the redeemer of the race, and so on. But you, Jack Jefferson, are you the Black Hope?
I'm black and I'm hoping.
I'm gonna fight. I got my turn to be the champion of the world. I'm taking my turn.
The Great White Hope.
The Great White Hope, released in 1970, based on the play released in 1967 of the same name, starring James Earl Jones, who won a Tony for this movie. He was nominated for an Academy Award, but unfortunately did not win. Jen Alexander, same deal. She was nominated for an Academy Award, didn't win. She did win a Tony, however, for the play. And this film was based on the life boxing career of Jack Johnson. If you don't know who that is, he was a early 1900s boxer. He was actually, I believe, the first ever African-American boxing world heavyweight champion, which is, history. But, this is the early 1910s. So obviously, if this happened nowadays, people would be celebrating it. Not back then. They hated it. Because obviously, he was a black man, and he beat a white man he beat a lot of white men to defend his championship, to win the championship. So obviously, a lot of racist people, and there were a fuck ton of racist people. You think there's racist people now? Pretty much everybody was racist back then, right? Literally everybody was racist. So everybody hated him for no reason, just because he was black. They all hated him. And because, I think it's also because he was beating all these white people, so it made the racist white people think, oh, well, but that must mean we're better than black people, but he keeps beating the white people. So that's so it's kind of like messing with their egos, right? Thinking that white is a superior race when he keeps beating them, right? So they eventually tried to put all these bullshit charges on him. So they used the Mann Act, which, if you didn't know, was a sex trafficking thing. So you couldn't take women specifically across state lines. But of course, this was for sex trafficking stuff. So what he did is he took his then fiance at the time across state lines. But obviously they used a caveat, and they're like, oh, but he did this, but he didn't, right? Obviously, so it was bullshit, but they still put him in prison for it, still charged him for it, and it didn't take until 2018 until he'd been dead for more than 70 years for them to pardon him from his crimes, which I guess was nice for his family, maybe to get the closure 70 years in the future, but still, it's a nice sentiment, I guess. Even though it would have been nice to happen when he was alive, because he did nothing wrong in that regard. And it was bullshit. And I really think that he is said to be one of the most influential boxers of all time, and also kind of a symbol of oppression. Obviously, because all the shit that happened to him only happened to him because he was black. Right? That's the only reason all that bullshit happened to him. And it was unfair. Right? Because it kind of ruined... It did. It ruined his life. And the movie kind of shows that. Right? He won the world heavyweight championship, the world's heavyweight championship, and they booed him for it. Making history, the first ever black world's heavyweight champion, and they booed him. They threw trash at him. They cursed at him, screamed at him. And essentially, our own government pushed him out of the country, because after he was charged with the Mann Act, he fled. And he went all around the world. He was boxing all around the world. But then it eventually got to the point where nobody wanted to fight him. Well, at least in the movie. I don't know if this is accurate to real life, but in the movie, he beat the shit out of a French guy, and nobody wanted to fight him because nobody could beat him. Right? He was unbeatable. But then eventually, I don't know if this is real, so I'm just reciting the movie here. He eventually came back to the States, and they were bribing him, right? They had pretty much given up everything. So hey, we'll drop your charges, and we'll pay you if you throw a fight. If you throw this fight, then we'll let you go, right? And it's like the ending of the movie, you don't know if he's actually going to throw it or not. And it looks like he might not. Then at one point he gets frustrated and he starts just kicking that dude's ass, right? And he beats the shit out of him. So it proves that if he hadn't thrown the fight, he would have literally just kicked this dude's ass and won, right? He would just beat the shit out of him and won, right? But eventually, like, his manager tells him, he's like, what are you doing? Like, they're going to kill you if you don't throw this fight. And they probably would have if he didn't, honestly. They were going to kill him if he didn't. And he just kind of had no choice, unfortunately. And it was kind of bittersweet because he had to throw the fight. And then it was, like, really bittersweet because then everybody was, like, acting like it was the best thing ever. Like, he was a hero because he beat the black guy. And it was, like, really kind of frustrating, right? Because you kind of root for him the whole movie. And obviously, he kind of starts to corrupt himself because he's just going through so much. Because he can't get jobs, he can't box, he's, like, broke, bad living conditions, he's, like, living in Mexico. And it's like, he's just starting to kind of go, not like literally, but he's starting to kind of go crazy a little bit, you know, and he starts getting into arguments with his wife, and eventually he gets into such a big argument with his wife that she throws herself down a well and kills herself, which I don't know about the well part, but in real life, she did kill herself, you know, and it's like, it's all fucked up, and it's kind of a tragedy in a way, you know, I'd say it's kind of like a tragedy, you know, like a modern tragedy, because, you know, he didn't deserve any of this. Because all he did was make history and they hated him for it. You know? And obviously years and years down the line, people appreciate what he did for the world of boxing. You know, people appreciate what he did, you know, for race, you know, for the black race. They appreciate what he did. He was a symbol of oppression. And he was just like, you know, maybe not even the fact that he was just a symbol of oppression. He was just like an inspirational person because he proved that you could be more in the United States. And he proved that you could be more. And it's just like, he proved you could be worth something, you know, or what they perceived to be worth something, right? And it was inspirational, but he was going through a lot. And it was just unfortunate the way his story ended, because he then died in a car crash in 1948 at the age of, I think, 68, I believe. Around that age. Doesn't really matter the exact age. But it's his story has a very unfortunate ending, and I wish he could have seen the amount, like, the impact he made in the world, even if some people don't know. I feel like he did make quite a big impact, you know? He was a very ahead of his time guy, and I really think his story is a very inspirational story, you know, that should be told. But it's like, as I said, it's a tragedy. You know, as I said before, it's a tragedy because, as I said, he made history. They booed him for it. They hated him for it simply because of the color of his skin. And that's bullshit, right? You shouldn't hate people because of what they look like. You know, I really think that that's stupid. And I think, I mean, obviously it's like cliche to say this, but you should judge somebody by the quality of the character and not, what's the saying? You should judge somebody not by their appearance, but by the quality of their character. Is that what it says? You guys get what I mean. You've heard it all before, but it's true. It's stupid that people still think this way, and I just don't understand it. You know, I just think it's petty, and it's stupid, and it's unreasonable. Like, this guy literally was I'd say he was kind of an American hero, but they treated him like a villain. And it's bullshit. And I really think he deserved a lot more. He deserved way more in his life. And I think I don't know. I think I'm ranting a little bit, but I just learned about his story and it frustrates me. Because I think this guy was truly a historical figure that deserves to be talked about more and deserves more admiration than he gets. And I think you guys should spread this story. Watch this movie. Maybe look out for the play. Read a book about him. Spread this story. You know what I mean? Because this guy deserves it. And also, rest in peace, James Earl Jones. Because obviously he played the main guy. He passed away recently. So rest in peace, James Earl Jones. Rest in peace, Jack Johnson. And, now, how did I feel about this movie? I thought it was sharply written. I thought it was well done. I thought it was well shot, well directed, well acted. I really thought the film, it really made me feel something. It was punchy. Right? I really liked the, it was punchy, get it? Because he's a boxer. I didn't mean to do that. But, yeah, this film I thought was very well put together overall. I really liked, it was also kind of simple, but in a good way. You know, there wasn't too many, like, complicated sets. I mean, there was, like, there was a scene with this giant, like, boxing arena with, like, fucking hundreds, thousands of people in it, right? Which probably cost a lot. This movie probably cost a lot for the time, I'd assume, because there was, like, a lot of extras in that final scene. But honestly, this film I just think was very well put together. And overall, I really liked the dialogue. I think, like, the dialogues between the characters, like, James Earl Jones especially, I think he, like, really made his character, or, like, his representation of Jack Johnson. I really liked his performance and his dialogue, as I said. Very well done. I liked the conversations he would have with people. It'd make you think, you know. And overall, I would recommend this movie. You know, if you're a fan of boxing, if you want to learn about boxing history, if you want to, you know, just watch, if you want to pay some tributes to James Earl Jones, who passed away, you could watch this movie for that reason. Because this is one of his, like, more legendary films. Or, if you want to pay respects to Jack Johnson, you could watch it for that as well. But overall, I think I would recommend this film. And with that being said, I think I'd rate this film an 8 out of 10. And, yeah. I think I'll say is think of some peace. So guys, hope you liked this video. Share with friends, subscribe to notifications on, comment below what you liked it. And I'm Everyone Time HD. Off to fight the champ. Ding ding ding. Psh. I can't box, guys. I get knocked out. Yeah, sorry guys, I'm a fraud.